Hello, fifth graders, and welcome to today's math lesson. For today, you will need your 5A textbook, 5A workbook, your math resource binder, and paper and a pencil. Or for this last step, whiteboard marker is fine. If you need to get these things, go ahead and do so, and then come on back. Fifth graders, for today's warm-up, you're going to be doing some of this multiplying that we practiced yesterday, or I guess this is Friday, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, so you're going to go ahead and complete this, and then after you have solved it, come on back and see how you did. So remember, we're starting by multiplying by 3, okay? 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 5 is 15. Now we need to add a 0 because we're not multiplying by 4, we're multiplying by 40. 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21. We add these all together, and you should get 228,932. All right, fifth graders, we're going to get into today's objective, which is going to be, that's incorrect, dividing, that should say, by a 2-digit number. Dividing by a 2-digit number. So in your math resource binders, fifth graders, you should be finding the steps of 2-digit division. The steps of 2-digit division. So go ahead and open up in your math resource binder to that page. It looks like this. And we're going to be taking some notes together. So you're going to go ahead and follow along with me. And this is the process that we're going to use throughout our division today. So the steps of 2-digit division. We start off by dividing. So I know that you've heard this in the past from previous teachers, that we kind of want to shoot for there to be something above each of these places. So we start with, how many times does 12 go into 5? The answer is none. It doesn't go in at all. So we can put an X there to show that 12 does not go into 5. So now we look and we divide. How many times does 12 go into 51? The answer is 4. So step 1 is to divide. Step 2 is to multiply. 4 times 12 is 48. You can be working along with me, fifth graders. Step 3 says to subtract. 51 minus 48 is 3. Then we bring down and repeat. In this case, we're repeating because there's still an empty space here. We're not ready to find the remainder. So now we divide. 12 goes into 34 2 times. 2 times 12 is 24. We subtract and get 10. Bring down. There's nothing more to bring down. So now we repeat. We can't because there's nothing more to bring down. So instead we find our remainder, which is 10. Okay, so if we did our division here, we would get 42, remainder 10. So fifth graders, these are the steps that we're going to use all through our division. Okay, this is another circumstance in which writing neatly is going to be very important. It will help you a lot. The neater that you can write, the easier it will be to keep track of your work. So we're going to go ahead and go into our textbooks and just do a lot of practice before it's time to do your own practice and then to work on your homework. I almost just knocked you guys right off the table. Wouldn't that have been a surprise for everybody? All right, we are on page 43 in our textbooks, okay? And we're just going to be, and it's not even 43, it's 45. What a delightful last minute I've had. We're on page 45, fifth graders. We're going to be just working on some division problems. Okay. Starting with 1A. So you just want to start by copying down the problem. Again, I have found with division and multiplication for that matter, writing nice big numbers, even leaving space, can be really helpful as we're trying to determine, or as we're trying to line up our work neatly. So we start with step 1, which is to divide. So 7 divided by 30, we can't do that. So now we say 70 divided by 30. Okay. That goes in twice. 2 times 30, we multiply for our second step, is 60. Step 3 says to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 7 minus 6 is 1. Step 4 says to bring down. However, in this case, there is nothing to bring down. So we go to step 5, which is to find the remainder. The remainder is 10. So our answer is 2 remainder 10. Let's try a little more complicated. 430 divided by 60. So we start with step 1, divide. 4 divided by 60, we can't do it. 43 divided by 60, we can't do it. So now we look at 430 divided by 60. Okay, so we say 7. Remember, 7 times 6 is 42. So 7 times 60 is 420. Okay, so we multiply and then subtract. We get 10. Step 4 says to bring down, but we cannot, so this is our remainder. 7 remainder 10. I promise not all of our remainders are going to be 10, though it sort of is looking that way, isn't it? Okay. For now, I'm kind of guiding you through, but eventually I'm going to ask you guys to start pausing and trying it on your own. Part C. 89 divided by 20. I didn't really give myself a lot of space. That was imprudent of me. So we start by dividing. 8 divided by 20. We cannot do 8 divided by 20, so now we do 89 divided by 20. Kind of looking, this is where we can sort of estimate, right? We're kind of looking at 80 and 20. So that goes in about 4 times, okay? 4 times 2 is 8, so 4 times 20 is 80 for step 2 to multiply. Then we subtract. We get 9. Next step says to bring down, but we have nothing to bring down, so this is our remainder. 4 remainder 9. Let's try D. I'm going to move it down here to give myself more space. 625 divided by 70. So for these guys, I do want you to work with me, but I am kind of guiding you through, so you might not have to pause and just do what I'm doing as we practice. Eventually, I'll give you that opportunity to pause. So 70 goes into 6, no times. In fact, 62 divided by 70 doesn't work. So now we're trying to figure out 625 divided by 70. So I know that 7 times 9 is 63. So 70 times 9 would be 630. So 9's too big, but it's pretty close. So I will try 8. 8 times 7 is 56, which means 8 times 70 is 560. So multiplying, that seems to work. Now I subtract. I get 65. Next step says to bring down, but there's nothing to bring down. And remember, when you get to a remainder, it's always a good time to check. If your remainder is greater than your divisor, that means you made a mistake. That means you didn't go high enough. So if your remainder is greater than your divisor, you need to go back and check your work. In this case, our remainder is smaller than our divisor. So our answer is 8, remainder 65. Fifth graders, I would like you to pause. I would like you to do all of number 2, following the same steps that we just did. Then come on back and see how you did. To A, we're doing 90 divided by 50. 50 does not go into 9. It only goes into 90 once. I know that 2 50s is 100. So I multiply, I subtract. There's nothing to bring down. So that's my remainder. B, 79 divided by 40. 40 does not go into 70, or to 7, excuse me. It only goes into 70 once. 40 times 2 is 80, so that would be too high. I multiply, I subtract, I bring down, but there's nothing to bring down. So that's my remainder. C, 85 divided by 30. I cannot divide 8 by 30. I can do 85. Again, 3 times 30 is 90, which is too big. So we're going to do 2. I multiply, I subtract, nothing to bring down, so that's my remainder. D, 540 divided by 70. I again didn't give myself a lot of room here. 70 does not go into 5 or 54, so now I figure out how many times does 70 go into 540. 7 times 8 is 56, so 70 times 8, 560 would be too great. So let's try 7 times 7, which is 490. I subtract, remainder 50. So you should have, I really got things tricky up there. The answer for number or letter D should be 7, remainder 50. I'm going to prudently give myself more space for these problems. 613 divided by 90, okay, does not go into 6 or 61. So now how many times does it go into 613? So again, 9 times 7 is 63. That's too high. So let's try 9 times 6. 9D times 6 ultimately is what I'm doing. But 9 times 6 is 54, so 90 times 6 is 540. I multiply already, then I subtract. You should get 73. So our answer is 6, remainder 73. And F, 438 divided by 60. How many times does 60 go into 438? You should have had 7. 7 times 60 is 420. You subtract, and our remainder is 7, remainder 18. So far we've been dividing by multiples of 10, right? 50, 40, 30, 70, 90, 60. Now we're going to go ahead and try to divide by things that are not multiples of 10. So it'll be slightly trickier, but the process really is the same. So number 3 tells us to divide 74 by 21. So as I'm looking here, part of division is really trying to come up with like close estimates to see how it might go. Okay, so this is kind of close to 20, and I'm going to use that to help guide my division. Okay, I cannot divide 7 by 21. 74 by 21. So 120 would be 20, and then 2 is 40, and then 3 is 60, and then 4 is 80, which is too high. So we're going to say 3 here. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Oops, that was not necessary to regroup there. Take that back. 4 minus 3 is 1. 7 minus 6 is 1. There's nothing to bring down, so our answer is 3, remainder 11. All right, number 4 is asking us to divide 256 by 47. Again, 2 divided by 47, we can't do. 25 divided by 47, we can't do. This is pretty close to 50. So as I'm looking at what I'm going to try to divide by, think about this like, okay, if this were 50, how many times would it go into 250? So let's try 5. Okay, 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 4 is 20, but we have to add back in that 3. So 23. Now we subtract. We get 21. This is smaller than this, which means that is our remainder. 5 remainder 21. Let's try a few more together. So again, estimating in this case is helpful to save ourselves some extra effort. So we're doing 63 divided by 17. This is pretty close to 20, so that's what I'm going to be thinking about as I'm trying to figure out what to work with up here. So 60 divided by 20, I know that 20 goes into 60 3 times, okay? So now let's multiply and see if that was a good estimate on my part. 3 times 7 is 21, so we put the 1 and then we hang on to our 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus those 2 back is 5. Now subtract 2 and 1. 12 is less than 17, so my estimate was pretty good. 3 remainder 12. B, 48 divided by 23. Again, this is pretty close to 20 or 25. You could consider it either way. Either way, it should tell you how many times approximately is 23 going to go into 48? How many times is 20 go into 40? Or 25 go into 48 or into 50? That's 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract with a remainder of 2. 2 is definitely less than 23. All right, our numbers are getting a little trickier, but we can do it. Let's flip this around. So 5C, 85 divided by 38. This is pretty close to 40. So how many times does 40 go into 80? Twice. So that's what we're going to try. 2 times 8 is 16. So we put our 6 here and we kind of remember that 1. 2 times 3 is 6. Add that 1 back. 7. We subtract and get 9, which is less than 38. So our answer is 2, remainder 9. Okay, 5th graders, I would like you to pause and try D, E, and F on your own. Then come on back and see how you did. So for D, 76 divided by 34. Okay, you could round this to 30 or 35. Either way, you should have said that, yeah, this will go in about twice. Okay, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. We subtract, we get 8. 8 is less than 34, so we say 2, remainder 8. E, 94 divided by 43. Again, if this is about 40, 40 is going to go into 94 twice. Okay, 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. We subtract. 14 minus 6 is 8, which is less than 43, so our answer is 2, remainder 8. Oh, look at that. Identical answers, and this one's very close. Interesting. That's something I would do in class on accident. All right, did any of you guys get tripped up by this one? It was tricky. It was a tricky one because I would round this to 30, and this is pretty close to 60. And so you'd say, okay, 30 goes into 60 twice, but let's see what happens. I'm going to do this in pencil. If we try that, which would be a super reasonable estimate, right? So 2 times 9 is 18, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. Do we see the problem here? We can't subtract, which actually means that this is too big. 2 is too big. Okay? A little bit tricky, so we actually have to do 1. Okay? 1 times 29 is 29. 17 minus 9 is 8. 4 minus 2 is 2. So our answer is 1, remainder 28. Fifth graders, you have been working hard, and I'm going to keep asking you to do a few more with me. Okay, let's try 149 divided by 67. So if this is close to 70, and this is about 150, we'd say, that goes in about twice, right? 2 times 7 is 14, carry that 1. 2 times 6 is 12, plus that 1 more is 13. We subtract and get 15. 15 is less than 67. Good, that's what we want. H, 509 divided by 84. So think of this as kind of close to 80 or so. This is going to be probably a little bit tricky. I'm going to go in pencil again. But if I said 80 and I'm trying to go in 509. So if we say 4, approximately 4, 4 times 4 is 16. Carry that 1. 4 times 8, way too low. I don't know what I was thinking. Way too low. I should be saying, what should I be saying? 6. Yikes. Okay. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry that 2. Now 6 times 8 is 48. Plus 2 more is 50. Ooh, that worked out. We get 6, remainder 5, after my little hiccup at the beginning. Fifth graders, I would like you to pause and try I and J, and then come on back and see how you did just I and J. So for I, you have 756 divided by 95. Okay. About how many times? We're looking at, I'd say, about 8. 8 times 5 is 40, and we hang on to that 4. 8 times 9 is 72, plus 4 more is 76. My estimate was too high, and I didn't write in pencil. So, cautionary tale, fifth graders, about why your teachers make you write in pencil. I'm writing in pen because it's darker and easier for you to see. However, without being able to erase, it's problematic. All right, let's try again. 7 times 5 is 35. So we write our 5 and hang on to our 3. 7 times 9 is 63, plus 3 more is 66. 6 minus 5 is 1. 15 minus 6 is 9. 6 minus 6 is 0. So you should have gotten 7, remainder 91. And I also asked you to do J, which is 668 divided by 72. So again, this is about 70, and that's the estimate we want to use. I'm going to say 9. Okay. 9 times 2 is 18. Carry that 1. 9 times 7 is 63, plus 1 more is 64. We subtract and get 20. 20 is less than 72, so our answer is 9, remainder 20. Fifth graders, we did a lot of division, didn't we? Okay. It's good practice because eventually we're going to get back to that bringing down as we go. Okay. So with that in mind, your practice is page 37 in your workbook. So you're going to go ahead and do page 37 in your workbook and then check your answers with the key that's attached. And then your homework is a document that's attached to this. And you're going to complete it on any piece of paper that you've got and then submit a picture of your work. Good luck.